One ride, one scream. That's all it took. One moment you're strapped in, laughing with strangers. The next, the safety you trusted is gone. These are the 10 most disturbing deaths on amusement park rides. Moments meant for joy that turned into irreversible endings. Number 10. The wooden coaster that wouldn't let go. It was a warm summer afternoon in July at a regional amusement park in the Midwest. The victim was a middle-aged park-goer visiting with family, chasing nostalgia more than thrills. A wooden roller coaster, old school, loud, fast, familiar. They'd ridden it before, this time felt no different. The station was crowded, the smell of hot wood, grease, sunscreen. The train rolled in, rattling. A brief pause. A lap bar clicked down. A quick visual check by an attendant. Green light. What they didn't realize was that one restraint system had a known tolerance issue. Documented, but not yet replaced. The train climbed. The chain clacked. Wind picked up. At the crest, the coaster tipped forward. The first drop slammed riders into their seats. The second hill created brief airtime. The lap bar lifted just enough. A shift in body position changed the physics. The third drop arrived faster than expected. Weight went forward, not down. The restraint failed to hold. Footage from bystanders shows an empty seat moments later. The ride slammed to a stop at the final brake run. Screams turned into silence. Park staff ran. EMS arrived within minutes. The rider was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators ruled it a restraint failure compounded by rider position. The coaster was shut down indefinitely. Lawsuits followed. Inspections nationwide intensified, but the ride still stands. Silent. Waiting. But the next death didn't involve a restraint failing. It involved someone stepping where they never should have. Number 9. The drop tower exit. It was August, just after sunset, at a busy urban amusement park. The victim was a teenager, there with friends, phones out, filming everything. The drop tower was the tallest attraction in the park. Straight up. Straight down. A controlled free fall. They rode once without incident. They wanted one more shot, one more clip. What they didn't realize was that exiting procedures on drop towers are unforgiving. After the ride returned to ground level, operators unlocked restraints. Riders stood, laughing, talking over each other. One foot stepped sideways. A warning sign was missed. A maintenance gate stood partially open. The platform edge blended into shadow. A misstep became a fall. Witnesses heard the scream before they saw the drop. The fall was only a few seconds, but it was vertical, unbroken, and fatal. Park audio captured the operator yelling, "Stop, don't move." Too late. EMS arrived quickly. The teen was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. The investigation cited inadequate barrier placement and poor lighting. The tower reopened months later with additional gates and markings. The video never circulated. Friends deleted it, but the memory never left. The next incident wasn't about exiting wrong. It was about entering where no guest was supposed to go. Number 8. The track below. It was a late evening in spring at a European theme park. The victim was an adult male, reportedly intoxicated, separated from his group. CCTV shows him wandering toward a restricted area near a high-speed coaster. What he didn't realize was that the ride ran continuously and silently between launches. The track sat low, exposed, deceptively close. He crossed a small fence, ignored posted warnings, stood on the trackbed, looked up too late. A train approached at full speed. Cameras captured the moment the train entered frame, then the cut. Riders felt a jolt. Operators hit emergency stop. Emergency services arrived within minutes. Death was instantaneous. Officials ruled it trespassing and blunt force trauma. The park reinforced fencing and installed motion sensors, but riders that night carried the shock home with them. Some rides kill because they move too fast. Others kill because they move at all. Number 7. The river ride drowning. Pho. It was a humid June afternoon at a major U.S. amusement park, the kind of day when water rides draw the longest lines. Families packed into circular rafts, laughing as they spun and bumped through artificial rapids. The victim was a young child, seated beside relatives on a shared raft. No seatbelts, no individual restraints, just molded plastic seats and a central handrail meant to hold everyone in place. What they didn't realize was that river rapids rides depend entirely on weight balance, and that balance can fail instantly. As the raft entered a fast-moving section, one side dipped lower than the rest. Water poured in faster than it could drain. The raft spun harder, unpredictably. A sudden surge lifted the child slightly from the seat. The current pushed inward. Small hands slipped beneath the central rail. Panic erupted immediately. On-ride footage from another raft shows adults reaching into churning water, shouting for help as the raft continued moving. Operators hit the emergency stop and shut down the pumps. Guests were evacuated along narrow walkways. EMS crews arrived within minutes and attempted resuscitation on site. The child was transported to a nearby hospital, where death was pronounced shortly after. Investigators later cited ride design flaws and inadequate child safety measures. The attraction was permanently closed. For many parents, Family Ride stopped sounding safe after that day. But the next death wasn't caused by water inside the ride. It was caused by water below it. Number 6. The overpass collision. It was October, just before closing time, at a seaside amusement park where the air smelled of salt and machinery cooling down for the night. The victim was a ride operator, experienced, trained, and trusted. As part of routine end-of-day procedures, they were performing checks beneath a suspended roller coaster that ran above service walkways and maintenance platforms. What they didn't realize was that a critical safety lock upstream had failed earlier in the day. As the final train completed its run, sensors misread its position. The braking system engaged late. Warning alarms triggered. The operator stepped closer to the track. The train rolled backward slightly, then re-engaged, unexpectedly. The clearance gap vanished. CCTV footage later reviewed by investigators shows a sudden blur of motion, metal meeting body with no time to react. Emergency responders arrived within minutes. The operator was pronounced dead at the scene. The park closed immediately and remained shut for weeks. Investigations revealed mechanical fatigue, delayed maintenance schedules, and reliance on aging safety systems. Guests left flowers at the gate, not for the ride but for the person who ran it. Many remembered the operator's smile more than the coaster itself. Some deaths happen in front of crowds, others happen above them. Number 5. The Ferris wheel fall. It was a holiday weekend at a traveling fair, lights flashing against the night sky. Music boomed from nearby rides as the Ferris wheel lifted riders slowly above the crowd. The victim was a young adult, seated alone in a gondola as the wind picked up. Below, phones glowed. Above, the wheel creaked with every rotation. What they didn't realize was that the gondola's door latch had been compromised, worn down from repeated setups and teardowns. The wheel paused briefly near the top. The gondola rocked in the wind. The latch loosened. The door cracked open. Balance was lost in seconds. Multiple phone videos captured the moment, a dark figure slipping from frame as screams broke out across the fairgrounds. The wheel stopped mid-rotation, leaving riders stranded in shock. Emergency crews arrived quickly, but the fall was fatal. Officials shut down the ride immediately. Inspections followed nationwide. grounding similar Ferris wheels across multiple states. The videos never disappear completely. Every year they resurface, blurred, shaking, and impossible to forget. For many, Ferris wheels stopped feeling gentle after that night. But the next death didn't involve height alone. It involved heat. Number 4. The Haunted House Fire. It was October during a Halloween event, when crowds moved slowly through dark corridors filled with smoke machines and strobe lights. The victim was a performer inside a temporary walk-through haunted attraction, masked, costumed, hidden behind foam walls and plastic panels designed to scare, not protect. What they didn't realize was that overloaded temporary wiring was heating up behind one of those walls. The power surged. A spark ignited foam. Smoke filled a narrow corridor. Emergency lights failed instantly. Guests ran, screaming, unsure which way led out. The performer moved deeper inside, following muscle memory in total darkness. Flames spread faster than expected. Security footage later shows smoke swallowing the hallway under a minute. Firefighters arrived within minutes, cutting through temporary walls to reach the interior. The performer was pulled out unconscious and pronounced dead from smoke inhalation at the scene. The attraction was banned statewide. Safety codes for temporary haunted houses were rewritten. That night, the screams weren't scripted. They were real and final. Next comes a ride that promised safety and delivered none. Number 3. The Pendulum Swing. It was mid-afternoon at a crowded international theme park, the kind of day where the sun bakes the pavement and ride lines stretch endlessly. The pendulum attraction was already in motion, an enormous mechanical arm swinging riders higher with every pass, flipping them upside down at the peak of each arc. The victim was seated near the outer edge, strapped in. Checked, or so it seemed. What they didn't realize was that their seat harness had not fully locked. Witnesses later described a slight pause before dispatch, an operator glance, a moment of hesitation that never became a stop. The ride accelerated. First swing. Cheers. Second swing. Full inversion. Third swing. The arc held a fraction longer than normal. At the peak, gravity changed direction. Weight shifted outward. The unsecured harness loosened. The rider's body lifted instead of pressed back. There was no scream, just motion. Footage from the platform shows the swing continuing, one seat suddenly empty when it came back down. Operators slammed the emergency stop. Riders were left hanging upside down as staff ran beneath the ride. EMS arrived within minutes. But the fall was unsurvivable. Death was immediate. Investigators later confirmed the restraint failure and charged operators with criminal negligence. The ride never reopened. It was dismantled piece by piece. The empty seat became the image everyone remembered. But the next death didn't happen during motion. It happened during a test. Number 2. The test run. It was early morning. No guests, no music, no screams. Just machinery. The victim was a ride technician, experienced, trained, part of the crew responsible for clearing a brand new coaster for public use. The track gleamed under overcast skies as final tests were underway. What they didn't realize was that one critical safety lockout had not been engaged. The technician was still on the track, tools nearby, focused on alignment and sensor placement. Somewhere in the control room, a system read, "Clear." The test sequence began. The train launched. There was no warning horn, no countdown, no time to move. Internal logs later showed the emergency stop was triggered, but the distance was too short, the speed too high. Impact occurred within seconds. Cameras inside the ride structure captured the moment, though the footage was never released publicly. Co-workers were first on scene, followed by emergency responders. The technician was pronounced dead at the site. The investigation revealed overlapping procedural failures, communication gaps, missing physical lockouts, reliance on digital confirmations alone. Sweeping changes followed: mandatory physical tags, redundant verification steps, revised test protocols across the industry. But the lesson came at the highest cost. The ride opened months later. The technician never came back, and the final death was witnessed by everyone. Number 1. The Standing Rider. It was a packed summer night at a major amusement park. The station lights glowed, phones were out. The crowd buzzed with noise as trains rolled in and out without pause. The victim was a teenager, laughing, distracted, standing up inside the coaster car just moments before dispatch. They were trying to adjust something, a seatbelt, a phone. No one knows for sure. What they didn't realize was that the ride had already cleared safety checks. The operator glanced up. The panel showed green. Dispatch light turned on. The train launched instantly. Acceleration forced bodies backward. The standing rider had nowhere to go. Balance vanished in a split second. Multiple videos captured the chaos, shouting, phones dropping. A sudden scream as the train disappeared down the track. The ride was stopped within moments, but the damage was done. Park staff reached the scene. Guests were evacuated in stunned silence. EMS arrived quickly and transported the teen to the hospital, where death was pronounced shortly after. Investigators ruled it a violation compounded by insufficient enforcement. The coaster was closed permanently. Standing policies were rewritten across parks worldwide. One moment of distraction became a lesson written in steel and memory. Every one of these rides promised fun. Every one of them delivered finality. No clip is worth a life. No thrill outweighs the risk when safety fails or is ignored. If you're watching this, remember, rides don't forgive mistakes. And if you want to see what happened next, watch the next video.